UFC Fight Night Kansas City is this weekend, and I'm going to be breaking down the entire card, my full card breakdown, starting with the early prelim opener, ending with the main event. Solid fight night we got this weekend, boys. We had a little bit of a week layoff, but we're back with some more UFC. So before we go ahead and get into the full card breakdown, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's start it off with the early prelim opener of Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. Opens up this card, man. It's not the best fight, let's be honest. It's not the best fight, but it is kind of one-sided in my eyes. I did watch some tape on these two women, and Chelsea Chandler has a singular path to victory. I think she has a singular path to victory, and that's genuinely just laying on top of Jocelyn Edwards, wrestling her, tiring her out, really just using her size and her physicality to beat Jocelyn Edwards. But on the MMA skill side, that completely goes to Jocelyn Edwards. I have no idea how Chelsea Chandler's ranked number 14 in women's bantamweight. The rankings in women's MMA just completely confuses me sometimes, but I think Jocelyn Edwards gets it done everywhere. Her striking is pretty good. She's not the fastest girl, but she is solid on the feet. She's way better than Chelsea Chandler, and I think she will just outpoint her everywhere the fight goes. Chelsea Chandler, if she does get takedowns, I think it will be a bit difficult for Edwards to get up, but I think once she gets up, she'll be landing the better shots. I don't think Chandler will be able to do anything on the ground. So I'm going to go Jocelyn Edwards by unanimous decision, 29-28. But both these women are really big for the division. Chelsea Chandler is much bigger. Even though it says that they're the same size, I think she is much bigger than Jocelyn Edwards. And both these women have missed weight a lot. So I think is a recipe for one of these two women getting cut from the UFC. The loser of this gets cut, guaranteed. I can almost put my life on it. But I'm going to go Jocelyn Edwards unanimous decision. I just trust her to be the better MMA fighter in an MMA fight in the UFC. We move on, though. Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. This is a really close fight, really difficult pick because Timmy Kwamba just doesn't have any urgency when he's fighting, and that kind of makes me worry a little bit, because you want to pick somebody that is going to try to get that win, who's going to push through the really tough moments in the fight, and that's Roberto Romero. I mean, he took a short notice against David Onama, who's really tough, who's fighting in the rankings this weekend, who's fighting on this card, and Roberto Romero dropped them, almost finished him on the ground in round one. Didn't have the best cardio because he didn't have a full training camp, but he did do really well in that fight. A lot of people are siding with Roberto Romero, and I get it because I want to side with Roberto Romero, but this is a really close fight. Timmy Kwamba is well-rounded everywhere. He just doesn't have good knockout power. He doesn't have good finishing ability, and he doesn't worry, and he doesn't really force a situation for him to get a finish or get, a dominant position. So I'm going to have to go with Roberto Romero to get this one done. I think it's going to be close, so I think this could go to a split decision. I think this will go the distance. Some people are saying this might end in the finish. I don't think it ends in a finish. Timmy Kwamba, he's durable. He's tough. He just doesn't really throw out enough volume. He doesn't throw out enough, of his volume to end a fight. He doesn't really put himself into the fire very much. He doesn't really send a potential for him to get a finish or get a win. So I'm going to go Roberto Romero by unanimous decision or by split decision. I think he's going to get a split decision over Timmy Kwamba, and Timmy Kwamba gets cut, man. We move on, though. Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana. Everybody's picking Jacqueline Amorim. I get it. I totally get it, and I think she is the rightful favorite. She's a massive favorite. This is not a fight you should bet on. Do not put any money on this fight. A lot of people are parlaying Jacqueline Amorim. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. You never know what could happen in women's MMA, especially a fight like this where Polyana Viana is bigger. She's got good BJJ. She can finish a fight. She does have submissions in her bag, and we have seen Jacqueline Amorim give up positions before, but she is the better finisher. She's the better wrestler. She's got the better BJJ, and she does actually train MMA. She does actually try to win MMA fights. Polyana Viana has just become an IG model. She's just become an influencer. So, on the side of who wants to win this fight more, guaranteed is Jacqueline Amorim. Who's got the skills? Who's got the better skills is Jacqueline Amorim. Polyana Viana has a bit of a size advantage, but she just doesn't really train as hard as she could for MMA. So I'm going to go Jacqueline Amorim to get this one done. I don't know if she finds a finish. I could see her, wrestling Polyana Viana and just beating her up on the ground, not able to wrap up a submission. Polyana Viana's been subbed before, but I think maybe Amorim could go the distance here. So I'm going to go Jacqueline Amorim by unanimous decision. We move on, though, to the next fight, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Saaiman. This is a fight I've gone back and forth with. Cameron Saaiman is one of my favorite dogs of the week. He is always pretty good. He did struggle in this fight against Payton Talbot, got beat up really bad, got finished, but Payton Talbot was in a aura maxing kind of zone, man. He was in an aura maxing zone, was in and out, smooth shots. He looked super crisp. Cameron Saaiman just had to be that guy to get beat up by him. And he lost to Christian Rodriguez, who fraud checks every single undefeated fighter. So, they're not bad losses. And he's fighting Malcolm Wellmaker, who we haven't seen if he's MMA ready, or not MMA, UFC ready yet. In the Dana White Contender Series, he landed a beautiful check right hook, dropped his opponent, knocked him out with one blow in bantamweight. He's got some power for sure, but it was also the perfect shot. And is he going to land that shot on Cameron Saaiman? I don't think he will. I think Malcolm Wellmaker is very good. I think he will be a talent in the UFC, but I don't think he's going to win his first fight in the UFC against Cameron Saaiman, who's very, very experienced. He's trained with DDP. He's got really good movement. He's fluid. As long as he keeps his defense up and as long as he doesn't get hit with one of those power shots by Malcolm Wellmaker, I think he wins this fight on the scorecard. So I'm going to go Cameron Saaiman by unanimous decision, but I think this will be a close fight. I think Malcolm Wellmaker will make it a little sketchy in moments. Maybe he'll drop Cameron Saaiman, but Saaiman will survive, scramble back to his feet, maybe try to get a takedown. I think he's going to get some takedowns on Malcolm Wellmaker, hold him down, land some shots, slow the pace down, make it a little bit boring to try to slow down Malcolm Wellmaker and just kill any momentum that he has. So I'm going to go Cameron Saaiman, 29-28 unanimous decision. We move on. Damon Blackshear versus Alateng Lee. We barely see Alateng Lee, man, fight. He fights every year, like once a year or maybe once every 2 years. Really not very active. He's a good wrestler, very good wrestler, decently short for the division, but Damon Blackshear is kind of tall for the division as well. But Alateng Lee, ball of muscle. He's very strong, good offensive and defensive wrestler. He's able to mix it up on the ground. Not a great finisher, which is why I'm going with Damon Blackshear, just because of the fact that I think Damon Blackshear needs to fight somebody who can KO him. That's the only way he loses, is if he's put in serious danger of getting finished, if it's a decision, or if it goes over one round and he's able to get into that flow state and find a finish, it's game over. I think Damon Blackshear takes his fight every day of the week. I think it might be a little sketchy in the first round. I think Alateng Lee's going to have some good moments. He'll get some takedowns, hold Damon Blackshear down, land some ground and pound. But I think Blackshear, once he gets back to his feet, lands the better shots and is able to look for a submission. He submitted a lot of wrestlers recently. His BJJ is he's got some of the best BJJ in bantamweight. His jiu-jitsu is very, very underrated. He's got one of the only twisters in the UFC, one of 3 twisters in the UFC. It was a little bit rigged. He was holding his glove, but he's very good on the ground. He's riding a 2 submission streak, and I think he could keep that up here. I think he might find a finish by KO, actually, a ground and pound TKO over Alateng Lee, who will maybe accept bottom position against Damon Blackshear and try to not get submitted. So I'm going to go Damon Blackshear by round 2 finish, either KO or submission. I think he gets it done inside the distance. Better finisher, more well-rounded, more active as well. I like his activity. He's fought only I think it was a month ago now he's fought. So I like his activity. I like his finishing ability. I think Damon Blackshear gets it done. We move on. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. This fight's been rebooked. How many freaking times, man? How many freaking times? I don't even think it was there when I was doing my quick picks last week. But Chris Gutierrez, John Castaneda, 3rd time this is being rebooked. I don't really want to break it down anymore. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I'm just going to make a pick. I think Chris Gutierrez gets it done. When it comes to fighting guys like John Castaneda, Chris Gutierrez just takes these fights all day. They're not fun. He barely scrapes by, but he does win these fights against a guy in John Castaneda who is good. John's very good. He's well-rounded. He does have some finishing ability. He's got some power in his hands, but he does give up some bad positions, and he doesn't push the pace as hard as he could. And I think Chris Gutierrez is going to make it boring. He's going to slow it down. He's going to just go for those leg kicks at range. He's a taller guy. I think he's going to land the better shots. Just throw out 15 minutes. That's all it is. I don't see this ending in a finish. I think Chris Gutierrez gets it done by unanimous decision. 29-28. I feel like there's going to be a fair amount of decisions on this card. 29-28 until we get to the main card. 29-28. Chris Gutierrez. I keep skipping over myself. Chris Gutierrez gets it done by decision. I think overall, man, he beats guys like John Castaneda every day of the week. He's not very active, but he is the better striker in my opinion. So I think Chris Gutierrez gets it done. We move on. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. This fight was just remade. Gage Young was just taken on short notice. They got the exact same record, but Gage Young is I believe he's very fresh in MMA. He's very fresh in the UFC. He had his Dana White Contender Series fight against Quillen Salkid, I believe it was, and he lost by decision. But Gage Young is good. He's a good finisher. He's decently big for the division, and he is very well-rounded. He is good and very well-rounded, but I think these guys have the very same fighting style. I think Evan Elder and Gage Young, this is a very good matchup, as in like stylistically speaking. I think they have a very close style. Evan Elder likes to get scrappy, likes to grind out, a tough fight. Likes to look for some submissions, but he's also got some power in his hands. I think Gage Young is about the same. They're going to be able to wrestle, have some good exchanges. I think this will be a very fun fight for as long as it lasts. But I think Evan Elder is the better fighter everywhere. He's coming off the full training camp. He is very good. Had a very close fight with Nazim Sadikov. Is now friends with him and is training with him. He's always looking good. He's in his past 2 fights, he's looked really good. And now I think he's going to show up with a really, really good game plan. Finish Gage Young in round 2. I think he's going to find a TKO over Gage Young. He had a really close fight with Nazim Sadikov, like I said. He almost won that fight, but that cut ended that fight, unfortunately. So Evan Elder gets this one done, in my opinion. Gage Young coming in on short notice. You got to respect it, but I don't think he's completely UFC ready. And I think everywhere that he is good, Evan Elder is just a little bit of a step above, if not a couple steps above. So I think Evan Elder is going to beat him to the punch. He's going to get this one done by TKO in round 2 or round 3. We move on, though, to the next fight, Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. This fight is tough. This fight's tough to pick because Matt Schnell was a massive favorite coming into this one. He was like a minus 300 coming into this one. Somehow he was a minus 300 coming into this one. The line has tightened. I think he's become a minus 200 now. Jimmy Flick, people are seeing the value in Jimmy Flick. They're like, he could find a submission. And it's true. Jimmy Flick could find a submission. I think skill for skill, Matt Schnell's better everywhere, but Jimmy Flick's submissions are always live. If you can take Matt Schnell down or Matt Schnell trips or something, does something goofy, man, because this dude consistently does goofy things in the UFC octagon. And it's impressive that he's still in the UFC after a long loss streak. And, he just got beat by Cody Durden by submission on short notice. Cody was coming on short notice. Jimmy Flick could totally find a submission, but I don't see that happening, man. I think Flick's been out for a while. He lost his last fight. Jimmy Flick needs to find a submission. The line is closer. There's a higher chance Jimmy Flick finds a submission than to win by decision. For sure. So I think Matt Schnell will get this one done by I don't think he's going to find a finish. I don't think he's going to finish Jimmy Flick, but it will be scrappy. This will be a fun fight. It has no rankings implications. It's got no implications in flyweight. This is just who's going to retire on a win. That's exactly what this fight is. Who will retire on a win? We might see a double retirement here, depending on what happens. If Jimmy Flick wins, he might stay, but if Matt Schnell wins, I think he'll retire. Jimmy Flick might retire if he loses. So this might be a double retirement fight, boys. But I'm gonna go Matt Schnell. Don't know how he's gonna win. Honestly, I can't make a prediction of how he's gonna win, but I do see him getting his hand raised. We move on though to the main card. Opening up the main card, we got Ikram Aliskerov versus Andre Muniz. This is a fight that's been rescheduled. I think this is the second or third time it's being rescheduled. It's not a fight that is that pressing to be rescheduled. We don't really care about this fight, to be honest. Some hardcores will be like, oh yeah, Ikram versus Andre Muniz. That's a great matchup, man. That's a great wrestling matchup. It's going to be super fun. I don't think it's going to be super fun. I think this fight's going to finish in the first round. I think Ikram will get this one done in the first round. Andre Muniz just kind of becomes a punching bag at some point. Obviously Ikram got finished by Robert Whittaker, but that's Robert Whittaker. That's Bobby Knuckles on short notice. He was in Vegas, flew to Abu Dhabi to fight Robert Whittaker on short notice. That's tough tale, tough ask, man. And he got beat up. He got beat up really bad, but he's taken a lot of time off, recovered. His only 2 losses in MMA are Hamza Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. All right, those are top dudes. Those are top dogs that have fought each other as well. And those are his only 2 losses. I think he gets this one done by TKO in round 1 against Andre Muniz, who's a really good BJJ. He's got really good BJJ, and at one point, a lot of people were like, this guy is solid. He could make it up in the rankings. He could do some stuff, but unfortunately didn't go his way. And I think Ikram will just be better everywhere. If it does go to the ground, he can survive on the ground. He won't get submitted, and I think he'll get a ground and pound TKO in round 1 with relative ease. Andre Muniz, not very defensively sound on the ground. He's looking for submissions. He's got good BJJ off his back, but I think he will just get outstruck and get ground and pounded to a finish. So I'm going to go Ikram Aliskerov by round 1 TKO. We move on. Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. This fight could go one of two ways. One of two ways, man. This is like either Nicholas Dalby gets a crazy knockout somehow pulls off a crazy knockout, or Randy Brown gets a decision. I don't really see this fight going another way. Honestly, I think Nicholas Dalby, 40 years old, coming off of a decent little layoff, fought Rinat I think he fought Rinat Fakhretdinov last, and he arguably won that fight. Rinat has gotten away with some crazy robberies, but he's fighting Randy Brown. Randy Brown, super tall for the division, really lengthy striker, arguably beat Brian Battle. I think he beat Brian Battle in his last fight. He got 2 takedowns in that fight, outstruck Brian Battle in every round, I'm pretty sure, and still lost by getting clinched up against the fence. I don't think that'll happen here. I don't think he's going to let that happen here. Obviously, you can't trust the judges. It's difficult, but I think Randy Brown will win by points on the scorecards. I think he'll get this one done by relative ease. Better striker, younger, faster. He had momentum before this. He still has that momentum. He's just pissed off from that loss. I get it. I don't think he's going to let it go to a split decision again. I think he's going to try to finish this fight, but Nicholas Dalby is very, very tough. So I think Randy Brown will get a unanimous decision, 29-28. Nicholas Dalby just doesn't have too much. He does have that crazy breathing technique, though. He does have that crazy breathing technique. You can't underrate his breathing technique is very underrated. You can't doubt that breathing, but I don't think that's going to save him in this one. So I'm going to go Randy Brown by decision. We move on. Michel Pereira versus Abu Magomedov. Everybody's taking Michel Pereira, man. I'm going Abu Magomedov. I do not care. He's one of my favorite underdogs on the card. Michel Pereira, I don't trust him. I really, really don't. If he does win, great. I don't think he does, though. Michel Pereira had a crazy nice win streak before fighting Anthony Hernandez. Obviously, he had a main event against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez not that long ago. It was about 6 months ago or something, maybe a bit longer. He had that main event, got absolutely beat down after round one, gassed out after round one, just got beat down for 4 more rounds and got finished. I think he got finished in the 5th round by ground and pound against Fluffy Hernandez, and he looked really bad. He looked really, really bad. I know this is a 3-rounder. He's taking time off, but Abu Magomedov is no joke. He's lost to only the best guys. He's lost to Kyle Baralho, Sean Strickland. His striking is really good. It's only getting better. His boxing is getting better. His offensive wrestling is getting a lot better as well. His takedowns, his double legs are really nice. I think he's going to tire Michel out in round 1. As long as he survives round 1, I think Abu's takes over in round 2 and round 3. He gets himself either a decision or a TKO. Finds maybe a finish over Michel Pereira. He's got heavy hands. Abu Magomedov's boxing has gotten better. People forget that he was outstriking Sean Strickland in round 1, round 2. He expected to get him out of there early on, wasn't able to do so, and then he gassed out and got beat down by Sean Strickland. But he does have good striking, really good boxing, and his takedowns and his wrestling is getting better, and his submission game is getting better. He's coming off that submission win over Bruno Ferreira, which aged very well. Bruno Ferreira is really dangerous, and honestly, Bruno Ferreira and Michel Pereira have kind of the same build, have kind of the same fight style. Pereira's a bit crazier, but I feel like it's almost an identical matchup. I think Abus Magomedov finishes this fight or gets a nice decision. I think he takes this one all day. I'm going to go Abus Magomedov by KO or by decision. We move on, though, to the next fight. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. In my quick picks, I did go with David Onama. And looking back at film, man, David Onama has had some very close fights. His fight with, what's his name? Nate the Train got beat up, gassed out, beat up in that one. I know that was a while ago. His fight with, what's his name? Santos, got beat up in that one as well. He did find the finish, but that was scrappy until he got that finish, got that uppercut. And he's had some really close fights. His last fight with Roberto Romero almost got finished. Really, really close, razor-thin fights, like where he's almost losing these fights. And Giga Chikadze is no joke. Giga's got amazing kickboxing, really nice striking, and his wrestling has gotten better over time. He obviously got beat down by Calvin Kattar, got wrestled. Round 1 was on his back the entire time, was on his back for most of that fight. But he's improved his wrestling since then. He's taken time off. He's trained his wrestling, and his striking is always super dangerous, very lengthy for the division. I think he's going to outstrike David Onama everywhere this fight goes. Onama can make it scrappy. He'll have to make it scrappy to try to win this fight. But I think Giga Chikadze is being super underrated in this. I can't believe he's an underdog. I know there's a solid chance David takes this one, but I'm going Giga Chikadze by KO. I think he gets a finish over David Onama, who's left some holes in his game and who's been almost finished multiple times. I think Giga's going to hurt him on the feet. David's going to cripple, fall down to the ground, and he's going to get finished on the ground by Giga Chikadze. I think it's been a long time coming. Giga is due for a KO, and I think he's going to get in this one against David Onama, who is a favorable matchup for him. It's a good matchup for Giga Chikadze. Obviously, he likes to make fights clean, and David Onama likes to make it scrappy, but I think Giga's going to have the better striking exchanges. I think he's going to connect with the better shots, and I think he's going to get this one done. So I'm going to go Giga Chikadze by round 3 TKO. I think he's going to get a late round 3 TKO, find a finish after David Onama's tired, and leave some openings. We move on, though, to the co-main event. Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Zhang Mingyang. I want Anthony Smith to win so bad, man. I like Anthony Smith. He's a nice guy, you know? He's a nice guy. His story is nice. And I think he's a good analyst, but he is fighting a really tough fight against Zhang Mingyang. And I have to go with Zhang. I can't not pick Zhang Mingyang. Like, if I didn't pick Zhang Mingyang, I would be mad at myself if he did win or when he does win. But if I pick Zhang and Anthony Smith wins, I won't be mad. I'm going Zhang Mingyang. He is more dangerous everywhere. He should get it done in the first round. He should TKO Anthony Smith. I mean, Anthony Smith was a punching bag in his last fight against Dominic Reyes. He's still dangerous. Don't get me wrong. Anthony Smith is still dangerous, and he's very big. He's a very big dude. 6'4". He's thicker. He's bigger than Zhang Mingyang. I think he's going to be the more physically imposing dude in the octagon. But Zhang Mingyang is really fast, has heavy hands, has nice elbows, nice finishing ability. And when you go to the ground, when you get dropped to the ground, 90% of his finishes are on the ground by TKO on the ground or by submission. He can wrap up a submission. All of his fights are by finish, which is a little bit worrisome. We haven't seen him go the distance, but he's really dangerous. He's really, really dangerous. And I think it's a tough, tough task for Anthony Smith. I want to see him end on a win, but I don't see it happening against Zhang Mingyang. So I'm going to go Zhang Mingyang by round 1, TKO or submission. I think he's going to find a finish in round 1 if he just pushes the pace like he's been doing in round 1. If Anthony Smith survives that first round, he's got a solid chance to win this fight, though, and I do hope he does win. But I'm going to go Zhang Mingyang by TKO or submission. We move on to the main event, Ian Machado, Garry versus Carlos Prates. I've broken this fight down how many times now? Quick picks. I broke this fight down because I think it's super close. I made that video, and I've also broken it down in my dog picks video. So I've broken this fight down so much, so much, and I've thought about this fight so much, and I've been ping-ponging back and forth. But this is my final decision. This is my final pick, who I genuinely believe is going to win, and I'm going with Carlos Prates. I'm riding with the hype train, of the fighting nerds, and it's not just because of the hype. It's not even because of the hype. Now it's just skill for skill, mentality for mentality. Ian Garry's mentality going into fight week, the way he's been thinking about it, he's been looking past Carlos Prates. He's been looking past Carlos Prates as in he's going to beat Carlos Prates with ease. He's going to go to Montreal. He's going to come to UFC 315. He's going to face off against the winner of Belal and JDM and get a title shot. That's how he sees it going. And that's delusional. He is delusional. He's delusional. All right? That's the only way to put it. I think Ian Garry is way in over his head. He's thinking way in advance. He's got a really tough fight ahead of him. I mean, he's admitted Carlos Prates is on a 10 or 11 fight KO streak right now. Finish streak, on a win streak. And Garry just lost to Shavkat Rakhmonov. It was a close fight. Almost subbed Rakhmonov. Don't get me wrong, but I genuinely think Carlos Prates is a more dangerous striker than Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think he's got more power in his hands. His Muay Thai is really nice. He mixes up kicks really well as well. I think every part about Carlos Prates on the feet is better than Ian Garry. His striking is levels above Ian Garry. Ian Garry's not bad, don't get me wrong. And he is more well-rounded. But Carlos Prates has a clear path to victory. He wants that KO. And he's not looking past Ian Garry. He knows it's a tough fight. He's accepted that it's a tough fight. And he's been training 5 rounds. The fighting nerds have an analyst. They hired a scientific analyst to analyze every single one of the opponents of the fighting nerds going into fight week and going into their next fight. They have an analyst. I think they break down the fights perfectly. It's not just about Carlos Prates. It's about the team around him, and they just have perfect preparation. They make the perfect adjustments between rounds. I think they're going to do that in this fight. I think Ian should have the better cardio, but I think he will get finished. So I'm going to go Carlos Prates by KO or by submission. I think he could maybe wrap up the submission. It would be crazy work if he did, but I'm going to say Carlos Prates by KO round 2 or round 3. I think it won't finish in round 1, but round 2, round 3 finds that finish. I just don't trust Ian Garry, man. I've been watching so much tape, been trying to go over this fight over and over and over again, and I got to go with Carlos Prates, man. I won't be mad if Ian Garry wins, but I think Carlos Prates gets it done. That is the entire card breakdown, though. If you guys did enjoy, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop your comments down below what you guys think about this card, who you guys are picking in the main event, and I will catch you boys in the next one. See you.